The my boyfriend's back of undead action video games. Stupid, goofy, cheap, but also creative and fun, with thoughtful design behind it. Not saying it's good, but thoughtful. That's how I personally describe Neverdead, a game I went in expecting to hate and make fun of, but ended up having a lot of fun with. Now I hope you're willing to hear me out, and remember to like and subscribe if you like this video. Shinta Nojiri, producer of Neverdead, wanted to make an action game where you're not the perfect protagonist. Matter of fact, how about imperfect? Shinta Nojiri talks about the theme of immortality being in tons of novels and movies, but he wanted to add his own little twist to it. Shinta Nojiri was working for Konami for 16 years before creating Neverdead, and this was his baby. Producer, director, and even story and scriptwriter for Neverdead. Neverdead was a combined effort between the European and Japanese teams. And don't forget their favorite band.
Our
favorite band has provided a song written exclusively for our E3 trailer.
新しい曲を提供してくれました。それは
And that band is Megadeth.
Shinta is also known for his work on Metal Gear Solid games and Police Knots. That's right, he worked most of his career with Kojima. There was even some speculation that Kojima wanted to entrust the series to him after Ghost Babel, but he rejected the offer and abandoned Kojima for a different studio at Konami. After the failure of Neverdead, he left the games industry to work as a PR manager at NTT Docomo in 2016. He basically seems to have chosen the less strenuous life of a salaryman after Neverdead. The UK team that he worked with was Rebellion, established in 1991 by brothers Jason and Chris Kingsley. Rebellion has produced such games as Aliens vs Predator and Sniper Elite. Neverdead, developer-wise, was an all-star cast. This was Konami's Deadpool game that didn't star Deadpool. This is easily Death Becomes Her meets Deadpool, while haphazardly throwing hard-boiled gunplay and environmental destruction in. That's how you get Neverdead. These things have inspired gaming so much that two of them became games themselves. So if I get 10,000 likes, I'll talk more about the Death Becomes Her game.
Today really shaped up in a hurry, didn't it? You know, did you ever notice how some days can start out so shitty and then suddenly something wonderful happens and your whole outlook just suddenly changes.
Neverdead is a third-person shooter with no more heroes melee and Stubbs the zombie's body mutilization amalgamated into its core gameplay loop, dual-wielding a variety of guns to devastate the demon population, choosing what you're using on the fly. Shinta Nojiri wanted to make a game about a weak hero who would fall apart at any moment. That's how Bryce became immortal. The Death Becomes Her comparison becomes more applicable once we take damage in combat. There are no health bars, or even damage states. When you're hit, you lose limbs. Now this is going to be completely obvious to anyone, but if you lose your legs, you lose mobility. If you lose your arms, you lose the ability to dual wield and block. And when your head's removed from your body, you actually enter a state where you can lose the game. See, the grand baby eats everything it sucks in, your head included, and Bryce will be trapped there for all of eternity. This is bullshit made up by the devs so that you can lose, because there's no fucking reason you couldn't just do this. Bryce is capable of regenerating all of his body parts after a while, so the demons made a demon just to kill him, even if it only works because the game says so. This is made more bullshit by the other losing conditions in Neverdead, your allies dying. So you're forced to save them, but they can't do the same for you. That's right, most of Neverdead is an escort mission. Good thing Bryce fights with more than just his head. He also uses his arms when you're delimbed. Bryce can still fire his guns, making for creative uses in combat. So even while hurt, you're never truly at a disadvantage. Shooting from multiple angles, even when some of the enemies pick up your arms, you can keep firing while they're being carried. You can retrieve your limbs 2 ways, regenerating them or just picking them up off the ground. So the combat loop becomes fighting enemies till you need to recover limbs. This can make combat easy, repetitive, and annoying because living is based off of this one fucking minigame and how fast you can fix Bryce. But don't worry, you also use your body parts to solve puzzles and platform, like ripping your head off, throwing it into an air vent, or reach higher platforms. Even throwing your arm into a monster's stomach to damage it from the inside. The concept, while not used to its maximum potential, it's still used very well. So in the combat arenas that are plentiful in Neverdead, you'll have one major obstacle: the demon respawners, or what the game calls wombs. They are constantly respawning enemies till they're destroyed. You can pound this thing like it's Nico's girlfriend and it'll never make a dent. Honestly, if you're not properly using the destructive environments to kill these fuckers, you'll be here for a long time. This kills the game's momentum. Destructive environments are something else that was inspired by the thought of immortality. Since Bryce can't die, why not have him get hit by a train? Cars. All the debris in his gunfights. I mean, since damage doesn't mean anything. Shinta Nojiri designed everything around the core concept of immortality. From the maps, the enemies, and even the gunplay. Most of these problems are felt in the early game since you don't have very good guns. Pussy 9mm, Uzis, and just your sword. One of the most powerful and devastating weapons in your arsenal is your butterfly blade, doing a bunch of damage to enemies and slaughtering everything up close, doing AoE damage around you. But like everything in this game, you have to lock on and you swing your sword with your right joystick, moving side to side and up and down. Having to lock on and swing at enemies like you're playing Connect Star Wars. That's actually why I compare the combat to No More Heroes. The melee combat feels like it should have a fucking Wii remote attached to it. Now, having said all of this, if you go into this game expecting Devil May Cry meets Max Payne, you're going to have a horrible time. This is meant to be a goofy adventure, not the next From Software game. If you go in with certain expectations, this game is way better than you would imagine. Well, if you finish this video, you probably won't have to imagine. The story is just Last Witch Hunter meets a John Woo film. Bryce is a 500-year-old immortal demon hunter. A once brave and inspirational hero with moral integrity. Until the fateful day Bryce fought Azeroth, the Demon King, and his high-ranking demons. Bryce's wife, partner, and last medium on Earth is killed during the battle. Without a medium, high-level demons can't be hurt by mortal weapons. Azeroth, out of spite, gives Bryce his eye, granting him immortality. Now Bryce is a disfigured, dysfunctional degenerate, killing demons with his new partner, Arcadia Maximil, a female private investigator that works for the agency. Now doing odd jobs, killing demons to pay for his apartment and alcohol. This is where our story begins. The Asylum, the tutorial level, allowing you to get used to the controls in a safe space where you can't be defeated, showcasing the destructive environments and how useful they can be. Being forced to use all of the mechanics, mostly shooting hordes of enemies and blowing up everything, killing weapon-wielding enemies with your butterfly blade, using your sword to cut open doors, using omnidirectional cutting, beating Metal Gear Rising Revengeance to market by a year. All this while showcasing the grunt-style enemies that we'll be fighting throughout the campaign. That includes the respawners. The first time I seen them was outside in the center of the asylum, I immediately thought this game was going to be a huge pain in the ass to finish. And that's it for really anything interesting in this level. This level is pretty bland, and that's including the boss fight with the Blade Pig.
You owe me one, right?
Strange seeing you here. What's up, Alex?
So, where's your new partner?
Tough break. He was hit by a stray knife I threw. Purely unintentional, you know.
You killed another partner?
Accidents happen. No big deal, right?
Isn't that the third one?
Well, I've always been sort of a lone wolf anyway. So, catch you later, alright?
The museum, while looking creative, is nothing but arena fights, making one of the most boring levels to play through, with wombs out the ass here, and a bunch of sturdy enemies that never want to die. This is all before we get the really good guns, so you're going to struggle.
I'm Bryce Boltzmann with OPHS.
Hello, sir. Is something the matter?
It's this kid.
Wait, what's going on?
She's a lousy thief. Worst of the worst. I caught her stealing my wallet.
I am Nikki Summerfield, the one and only talented, gorgeous...
Explain this.
Where did that come from?
You can answer that question down at the station.
I'll leave her in your capable hands then.
Yes, sir. Leave it to me.
Because Bryce sent Nikki Summerfield to the police station, the police station became the next target for the demon hordes, fighting through the highly destructible police station to search for Nikki. One of the most important and easy ways to kill enemies is through using the environment. If you're not utilizing this strategy against these high health and powerful enemies, go get yourself a Snickers because you're gonna be here for a while.
I've come to rescue you, princess.
You stuck me here.
Technically it was the policeman?
You jerk. Come to think of it, where are all the cops? They ran out and left me, Nikki Summerfield, alone. Get me out now! Well, without a key.
I guess it's time for Plan B.
Plan B it is. And what is Plan B?
Why not just break the lock with that monstrosity on your back?
What, this? This thing will cut through anything harder than meatballs.
Unfortunately, Bev is right.
Yeah, let's just chalk it up to old age.
So, you will be back soon, right?
And once the doors open, all hell breaks loose, with demons all over chasing Nikki. So now, you're chasing Nikki through the Raccoon City Police Department, with Birkin right behind her, fighting us through the police station parking lot. Till fighting their way into the train station, where the only way to kill this beast is to lure him into the train, using our own body. Now, in the sewers, Nikki is hanging from the ceiling and Bryce takes his time rescuing her. This is when the game's good qualities start to surface. The level design. Flying enemies that come in after you activate the train and using the ceiling to crush the spawners. Filling a room up with poisonous explosive gas. And when you get the opportunity, you blow the entire room up and everyone inside. Surprisingly, this game that's considered bad has interesting set pieces that fully utilize all of Neverdead's mechanics. I mean, this is how I entered that room. Or how about using the subway trains as a weapon against the massive hordes of demons coming your way? To survive wave after wave of degenerate demons coming your way, you'll have to survive this industrial strength pinball machine. To survive underneath the sewers, you'll also need light. Through the use of Buddhist self-emulation, Bryce can navigate the dark parts of the sewers. You'll go through all of this to then fight what they call a hippopotamus. Bryce and Arcadia, knowing how important Nikki is, attempt to take her to a new safe house, a church. But is Bryce on the same page?
I'll have what he's having. Now, calm down, old man. I didn't come here to stir up any trouble. Besides, you know very well that you're incapable of harming me, right? That's right, settle down. All we want is the girl. Just a little insignificant girl. That's all. Bring her to the church around the corner and all will be fine.
What do you want from her?
That's of no consequence to you. Simply hand over the girl and we shall go our separate ways. I might even forgive you for my pointy finger then. As you know, without that medium wife of yours, you cannot defeat me, a fellow demon. I must be off now. Adieu.
The city, now under attack from powerful demons, hunting down Nikki and the team, are bombarded with demons while crossing the bridge. You have to fight and cross a bridge infested with demons while pedestrians are trying to escape. They don't care about Bryce though. The emulation didn't like these cars moving this fast, but it is a really cool level. Like before, I used the cars to kill my enemies instead of fighting them myself. Even the combat arenas are pretty fun and innovative, with multiple dogs running at you, forcing you to use the barrels unless you save them for the big guys. Before the portion of the bridge you're standing on starts falling apart and you have to fight them while it's breaking apart. Too bad you fall all the way down to street level.
Arcadia, are you there?
Yes. I've marked your position. We can meet up further ahead.
No concern for my safety?
With one of my favorite combat arenas so far in this alley. With the powerful enemies and the destructible fire hydrants, this battle is just pure chaos. In a fun way.
My, Mr. Boltzmann. Your obedience surprises me.
Wow, I never thought it would be this easy.
What in the name of...
I told you he'd show up. He won't be a problem. After 500 years, he's still as stupid as ever.
You tricked me!
Yeah, what a bummer, huh? Slight change of plans.
I'm hardly worried. Without a medium, you can't harm one single hair on my beautiful head. But you shall receive your just desserts. You will serve as my slave for all eternity. A fitting punishment for the loss of my finger.
We'll just see about that.
Finally fighting and defeating the evil Sangria, ambushing him in a church, for an insanely cool boss fight, where you learn why she is so important. Nikki is a medium capable of letting you kill higher level demons. You have to use her magic glyphs that she creates to damage him, from shooting through it or walking into it with your butterfly sword.
Did you finish him?
Did that hurt? Oh, my apologies.
Bryce, stay sharp. Remember the sword pig. Please do finish off all the demons.
Yeah, I...
Great work, everyone. Return to the safe house, and then head straight over to HQ, if you please.
I was so close to...
Death? Yes. But you're still heading there, aren't you? That Bryce never completes a job properly, you see.
You! I should have known! You're with Asmodee!
Yes. And you also should have known that Bryce would defeat you.
Die!
You know, cutting off a head can be quite deadly. I'm no perfect immortal like Bryce, you see.
Now at the agency HQ, with Nikki's power as the only medium in the world, she not only has the power to kill demons, but also help them cross over into our world. Meaning she can revive Azeroth, the Demon King. The leader of the agency is a secret high-level demon himself, and we're now fighting inside of his stomach. This is legitimately a fucking sick boss fight. He doesn't actually fight back since he's waiting you out. so you'll be slowly digested by him for all of eternity. You have to destroy his miniature stomachs, hidden all over the level while spinning around, disrupting you the whole way. If you survive all this, you'll have the opportunity to attack him directly, and he has 3 separate lives. And that's all before the hentai starts. This is basically that scene from Inception, except instead of a hallway, it's inside of an overweight demon stomach.
Go without me. I'll slow you down.
Listen, sweet cheeks. Either do as I say, or I'm gonna get really nasty on you. Now come on.
Now with Arcadia injured, you have to escape the agency HQ while it's completely destroyed and is burning down. Now Bryce is the only one who can get through the burning building and activate the sprinkler system. Too bad for Bryce, he's immortal, so... This is the only way Arcadia can proceed. You have to do all of this while saving other victims too. You have to fight your way to the top of the agency building to stop Nikki from being kidnapped by our version of Virgil. But Virgil kidnaps her. Now you're basically playing Devil May Cry 5 because Hell on Earth is being unleashed. This game is nothing but set pieces in a good way.
Arcadia? Jump. Come on!
Arriving in the city streets of the Demon Nest. Wait, the Demon's Nest? Like Doom Eternal? Well, other than not being red, it kinda looks similar. Start off with a fairly decent encounter that turns to shit mostly because I can't die, so this fight becomes monotonous. Then we got enemies that just mob you every single step of the way, with the city falling apart and falling down on you. I got stopped here for a long time since the game didn't register me going through the window. Some of the fights are made easier from the environmental destruction, or in my case, make it way harder being treated like a pinball machine. Now we're at the Demon's Nest, meeting up with Arcadia at the foot of the agency HQ, now the Demon's Nest, teaming up one last time to fight through endless waves of demons on their way to rescue Nikki. Once again, entering the stomach and fighting demons for so long I thought the game was glitched. This is all before the last 2 boss fights. Another immortal is in our way. Think Vamp meets Virgil. Having to rip through his defenses using a wall of bullets and cutting off each of his arms just to reach his neck. You have to do this 3 times, twice to remove his inflatable dog collar, before cutting off his head.
Guess that's the end of it.
It's too late. I won.
Bryce! Look over there!
Yep, it's been a while. How's life been treating you?
Your job here is done. Now, Bryce, it's your turn.
And here I was, thinking it was yours.
How foolish of you. You want to relive old memories, do you?
Bryce.
You still want a piece of me after what he just did to you. You don't stand a chance.
Right. Get him for me, will you? Get Astaroth.
Don't worry. He's all mine.
This feels like the end for me. Don't you think?
Now, I shall remind you of the foolishness of rising.
Nikki, you ready? I guess.
Watch over the cipher.
Try many times, the results will always be the same. Do you want to follow the same destiny as your wife and daughter?
What are you talking about?
I see. She died before even telling you.
Why you?
It is so inconvenient, being colorblind to souls.
You bastard!
Nikki and Bryce team up to kill the demon god Azeroth, the immortal flying piece of bullshit that he is. This fight sucks. It might just be me, but I don't know what it is about this shockwave attack, but I just can't get over it. I feel like I'm jumping too early, but I'm still getting hit by it constantly. He is constantly spawning enemies to kill you, and you have to shoot through the magic circles to even damage him. This fight can be rough, especially when he goes to the second phase, changing the landscape you're standing on. You can make this easier by cutting off his arms, by powering up your sword, but even that can be hard. And let's not forget that missing one QTE means restarting. This fight broke my goodwill to this game and one Xbox controller. Every single problem the combat has is highlighted in this one single fight.
This is the end of all that we know. Cipher. You see it?
Bryce! It's time to move! Let's get out of here!
Right! Let's go!
Bryce.
Keep running. I'll be right behind.
Bryce! Bryce!
I won't let you get away that easily. I'm taking you with me to hell.
Bryce!
Don't worry, just keep going! I've just got a few loose ends to tie up!
Nikki, come on!
Nikki!
What?
Go be a big star, kid.
While ultimately a failure, Neverdead is a very, very fun game if you go in with low expectations. Coming out a year before Deadpool with mechanics implemented feeling like a template for what should have been that game. But Shinta Nojiri wanted to make a game that was imperfect by design, with an imperfect protagonist. But he ended up making an imperfect game itself.
Bryce.
Hey, sweet cheeks. I guess you're pretty lonely without me, huh?
Bryce?
It's hell over here.